Welcome, Libra, to your Gemini season 1 month forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon across the 20th, 21st of May, depending on location. The sun returns to the quick-witted sign of Gemini. We can talk about the sun in Gemini from a general viewpoint, but what does it mean for you personally, Libra? On the screen is the event chart, the exact moment the sun arrives. All the other planetary influences feed into this, providing a backdrop for the next 4 weeks. I'm going to unpack that for you and also tell you about two upcoming influences. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear understanding of what's in store in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Gemini is the third zodiac sign. It's very much about interaction. It's where we socialize, and it can be about quick, fast messages and communication. Its ruler is Mercury, the planet of communication, and in mythology, the messenger, the intermediary between the gods above and us mortals on planet Earth. And Mercury happens to be in residence as the sun arrives, including the incredibly powerful energy of Uranus. And the sun will apply to Uranus in an exact conjunction, a cazimi, the day after arriving for the first time since 1948. It's that rare. I'm going to share all of this with you. Gemini energy is mutable, so it can be very flexible, very bright-minded, has a low attention span, and can be very curious. It can also be rather mischievous. But you can see the sun, Uranus, and Mercury for you in Gemini are in your ninth house. What's the significance of that? Well, intriguingly, the ninth house has opposite kind of energy to Gemini energy, which is very much concerned with everyday conversation. Can be to do with those chats we have. It can be to do with our connections in our neighborhood, our community, our online community, our social media interactions. Can be to do with technology, of course. Can be to do with sharing our ideas. And it can be to do with short journeys and short bursts of active movement. But the ninth house is more about the higher energies, the more philosophical energies, more to do with history, more to do with the law, not so much those fast exchanges, the more thoughtful ones. So for you, this is an opportunity to sharpen up and broaden your thinking, but also to take into account a desire to bring more variety into your life, because the ninth house does have an echo of the sign of Sagittarius. It can be adventurous, can be very independent, and with Uranus in the mix, if you are looking to be a bit more spontaneous and freedom loving, you get a great chance to do that over the next 4 weeks. May see you doing some sudden journeying, but if it does, it's going to be very stimulating and exciting. So Uranus being in the reception committee along with Mercury is really incredibly powerful. And I think if there is something you feel very strongly about, and it may be that you want to write a book, it may be that you want to start your own YouTube channel, publishing, or you want to broaden your reach. You may be someone who does teach and train. You may be involved in law or contractual matters or travel, and all of those things can absolutely sparkle with effervescence over the next month. But let's just widen the lens and look at the other planetary players. And we have to look at your ruler, because your ruler is the most influential planet in terms of your personal map, because she's right at the top of your chart on the northern hemisphere point, the 10th house. And Venus is forging a fantastic link with Mars. And this collective here, including Jupiter and the moon, the 10th house is our connection to the world. It can be our goals and ambitions, but it most certainly can be to do with who we need to work with, how people view us, our public image. And if you are wanting to break out of what you've been doing as far as your work is concerned and apply for different types of jobs that bring some variety into your world, this chart is very, very strong because Mars is in a part of your chart that's very good for talking about the financial side of things. His link with Venus, very, very strong in terms of Venus helping you to present yourself. You have a natural diplomacy, but it's going to be amplified on this event. So even if you are feeling restless and maybe a little on edge, these planets in the 10th house suggest that other people might not immediately see that. The way you're coming across is with confidence and potentially a lot of warmth. And Jupiter and the moon together in that conjunction is really, really lovely. And just to reassure you, Libra, if you are wanting to make progress professionally, the first 10 days of June are going to be hugely, hugely important because Venus and Jupiter come together in an exact conjunction on the 9th. And if you are pitching for new work or you have your own business and trying to get fresh clients and customers, or you are wanting to bring more imagination to an existing role, not only will you have the ideas or that Gemini energy and can be incredibly inventive, it's the way you get those ideas across to others could be very compelling, but also very persuasive, but in a subtle way. But that could make it all the more powerful. What's not to like? Well, let's just think of relationships because Neptune continues on your 7th house cusp. So very, very important. And that can create a desire for the kind of relationship that everybody yearns for, where it really is that soul connection. Nothing wrong with that at all. And in fact, as the sun moves forwards, comes into a lovely link with Neptune. So if you do find yourself connecting to someone who shares your interests, or perhaps through travel, you could have quite a magical moment with them. But if there is someone you're trying to impress professionally, just be aware that Neptune square with Venus means that some of the feedback that you're getting from that person may not be reliable. It's not that you're seeing things the wrong way. It may be how they're presenting things to you. So do scrutinize conversations. Ninth house can be about higher truths. Uranus can definitely be about that. Uranus is also the planet which is the higher octave ruler of Mercury. So if you need to be a bit more outspoken in the right situation, you have the cosmic tools here to do that. But just be conscious of that Neptune Venus square. And if there is someone that you're really drawn to at the moment, and maybe it is sexual as well with Venus in the mix, just be really sure of who they are and what they represent for you. However, if you have got a message that you want to share, Mercury's link to Pluto is incredibly powerful. Mercury can be about or be excellent for marketing, and the ninth house can be international and it can also be trade and broadening our horizons. So you can punch across your message in a very powerful way with Pluto and Mercury in an exact trine pretty well. And also, Mercury is linking back to Saturn. So if there is a contractual business matter that's beginning to shape up and you do feel confident about where the other person's coming from, that really is Saturn playing a role in a constructive way for you. But just to tell you, as the sun moves forwards and it gets up to just under the 5th day in the sign, so about the 26th of May, the sun comes into a T-square with the south node and the north node, and that could be a testing point. The sun in that ninth house gives you that vision, but also the excitement and the enthusiasm. But the north node's in the part of your chart to do with regularity, routines, commitments, and obligations. The south node's in a much more psychological area, an area which could perhaps at times since January 2025 have seen you maybe a bit too self-critical, to be honest. But what happens here is the truth-seeking sun comes into a clash with these guys, and maybe something that comes up as an opportunity does challenge the status quo, that however much there's part of you that wants to change it, there may be another part of you that resists it. And that's not uncommon in astrology. That's not you. That just happens in astrology. Also, if you work in a situation that you're not enjoying, the moon in the square with Chiron can make you acutely aware of the people there that you don't get on with. Because what you're seeking with these guys in the 10th house is equitable relationships. You want to be with people who are gracious, accept your talents. There's not big turf wars in order to get recognition and encouragement. But if that's not forthcoming to you, I think what this particular Gemini season can ask you to do is potentially break free from something that you have enjoyed to some degree, but you're not quite getting fed in that more, if you like, soul level way that you may yearn for. So Uranus on the sun could really predicate the concept that you're going to have to change in order to get what you want. So that can be more unsettling. But if you are going to have those interviews, those presentations, doing those pictures, remember the 9th of June can be spectacularly fortunate. I'm going to summarize those 4 areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. Just to say, I've slashed the price on my personal horoscope reports. It's now 3 for the price of 1. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report, which helps us to understand the patterns that play out in our lives, get a more intimate understanding of them, how to work with them future forwards. The ones you get free, your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis. If you don't have your North Node in your natal chart, late in Pisces or early in Aries, your draconic chart can look very different to your nativity. It gives us a different window of understanding, a deep window of understanding. And if you're particularly interested in past lives and things like that, it really can help you to understand that part of your journey in a much more profound way. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your Uranus 78-year solar return Kazemi video, that's on the screen, your Mars in Taurus video, 6 weeks video, that's on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. I work with people the world over. Please see my testimonials below. If you would like to take advantage of your free daily horoscope, find to your device each morning, get that early day celestial pit stop, you can sign up for that below. So to summarize, when it comes to your professional situation, if you work in an environment which is stimulating and open to new and fresh ideas and innovation, but the people side of it is strong too, and you're recompensed properly, and there's a good atmosphere, you're going to thrive. If you work in an environment where those more nurturing energies are lacking, you could feel a strong need to break free and do something different. And that's going to be really provoked around the 26th with that T-square between the sun and the nodal axis. Romantically, there may be someone that's showing up at the moment that you're finding to be very impressive. Venus in the 10th house, or perhaps they're finding you impressive. Of course they would be. Venus is in that sextile to Mars, and it could get hot and steamy, and it could go well. But if there's someone you're drawn to at the moment that you never seem to get a straight answer from, do proceed with care. Whatever hopes and ambitions you've got for the future with that person, especially if you are wanting a more committed relationship, you may end up being deeply disappointed. As far as your financial situation is concerned, Venus, the planet of money, is at the top of your chart in a great link with Mars in the eighth house, very much to do with shared or long-term finances. And Venus and Jupiter come into an exact conjunction on the 9th of June. So I think your money could go very well. However, the key to making progress around that is to use the analytical skills of Mercury and Pluto in a trine. They won't fail you if you really give yourself the space to focus. And just finally, as far as your energy is concerned, unfortunately, if you are around someone, you may even like them, who just seems to be quite demanding of you, I think that could be quite draining. That's Neptune and Saturn in that seventh house, and also Chiron in the seventh house in that square with the moon. If they're always looking for you to provide the solution rather than taking responsibility for their situation, I think that could be something that does rinse you out a bit. So just be conscious of that too, and setting your boundaries, which Saturn in the seventh house can help you with. It's been a pleasure being with you, Libra. All the best, and look forward to seeing you again soon.